Today on the bench, I'm going to tie you up the green UV sparkle nymph. Now this is a great overall nymph that works well all season long. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. For the hook, we'll use a size 12 2x long nymph, some 8/0 olive thread to tie with, a 7/64 inch gold tungsten bead for the bead, some black goose bites for the tail, some UV2 olive yarn for the body, some small copper wire for the rib, some more goose bites for the wing, and some insect green emu for the collar. To start the fly off, I've put my bead onto the hook and I've got my thread on there. I've taken 2 goose bites and I've put them opposite so they splay out from the hook. And I'm going to tie them on and make them, again, about a ½ inch long. Now that the tail's tied in, I'm going to take some of my copper wire and wrap it in, and we'll rib the body up with this a little bit later after we tie in the body. Now take a strand of your olive sparkle yarn and I'm going to tie it in just behind the bead just because I want the body to be even. I'm going to wrap over it with the thread back, bring my thread forward, and then wrap to form a body. And again, we want a slightly tapered body. As I wrap this up, I want it just a little bit thicker up by the head of the fly. Now we're going to take the copper wire that we had off the back of the hook, and I like to reverse it, go the opposite way, and we're going to form about, 4 to 5 ribs up the fly, just to segment that body. Now I've taken 2 more goose bites, and I'm going to do one at a time. I'm going to lay them on the hook, right behind the bead, and I want them just to extend back about the length of the body. And make sure they stay around the top of the hook. Tie one in and do the same with the second bite. And that's just going to form a couple of small wings on top of the fly. Now that we have the top wings on, I'm going to take my emu feather and we're going to wrap it in right behind the bead. Cut off our excess and then we'll wrap it forward. And I like a fairly bushy head on this fly. And as you pull it forward, just pull those emu feathers back. And this gets a real nice bushy head on the fly. It really sets this nymph off. And tie it off just behind the bead. Now to finish the fly off, take my whip finisher and right behind the bead, put about 3 or 4 whip finishes in, and that'll do it. So there it is, the finished green UV sparkle nymph. As I mentioned on the intro, it's a great overall pattern to use in rivers, and I even use it in lakes. To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one shown, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.